Interpol's global human trafficking crackdown, Operation Liberata 3, has just delivered one of the most extensive law enforcement efforts against organized crime trafficking and migrant smuggling, coordinated across 119 countries with more than 14,000 officers. The operation resulted in over 3,700 arrests, 720 new investigations, and more than 4,400 potential victims rescued and protected, including a surge in victims being moved into Africa from South America and Asia, not just out of it. So criminals are also using online platforms and deceptive recruitment schemes to trap people seeking jobs or better lives. Joining us now to unpack what all of this means for African communities and global enforcement is security strategist and retired Interpol ambassador Andy Mashaile. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Hey, Jumbo Peter, my brother. We haven't spoken in a long time. Compliments to yourself and to the production team there.
Yes, compliments. Some might say, though, complaints of the season, but we won't go there. So, Interpol's latest figures show thousands of arrests and potential victims protected from recent global operations. In simple terms, how significant are these results, and what do they tell us about human trafficking and migrant smuggling and how it's evolving?
They tell us that there is an increase in crime on different platforms like human trafficking and child trafficking, amongst others, including drugs and cybercrime. But what inspires me to be hopeful is the fact that the countries of the world, the 195 member countries, have joined forces and put up operations that are aimed no longer at preventing crime, but combating it to prevent it, obviously through detection that is informed by the red notices that emanate from member countries because of the crimes that have been reported. Excuse me, Peter, I just came out of a terrible flu for my hoarse voice.
No, you sound great, so we can hear you loud and clear. We're also seeing some interesting patterns developing, seeing, for example, Asians and Americans being exploited into Africa and not Africans going out in the opposite direction.
This depends upon the market, Peter. The forces of demand and supply um, are used to the most maximum by organized crime syndicates. Remember, some of these criminals hold doctorates. Some of them are former professors. Some of them are those that have massive interest in the pain of other people. So, long story short, the demands um, in the market informs the supply. The criminals don't just commit crime indiscriminately and willy nilly. They plan, Peter. They plot. They look at areas where there is high levels of unemployment and devise those deceptive schemes. They also look at areas where there is drought, where there is famine. They also look at areas where there is a small number or a shortage of males in those communities and vice versa, so that they can then be able to use the demand for gender effectively.
And also, human trafficking has certainly entered the digital age. We're seeing platforms like social media being used to target victims more and more. Perhaps as a final question, with this in mind, what can governments, communities, and individuals do better to prevent human trafficking and protect vulnerable migrants before they fall victim?
What I do, Peter, is zero trust. And that's the advice that I gave you. Zero trust should not only be applied digitally. What you see on the digital plane as an advert or as Peter's face and voice telling you to invest 4,000 and being able to make 21,000 every week should be taken with a pinch of salt. Zero trust, you don't trust until you speak to Peter. Zero trust if there's an advert that says there is schooling opportunities in Russia as it also came my way, my child's way. You have to verify with the Department of International Relations and Cooperation. Simply put, Peter, people, before you take action to commit to making the reality of the objective in an advert or the offer that has been made, you need to verify. If there's an opportunity of employment, you need to check with organizations in South Africa like EPSO, the Associated Professional Staffing
Right, right.
Organization. Yeah, they will check for you if really the company that's said to be advertising and looking for um, people to work in their organization. The South African Staffing Association will be in a position to speak to the North American Staffing organization as well
Right.
as the Russian Staffing Organization. Confirm, but operate on zero trust. Never trust anything.
Ambassador Andy Mashaile, always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much indeed for such important insights on this critical subject. Thank you for your time.
Wonderful talking to you after a long time, my brother. And thank you and Channel Africa for the good work that you create, that you do by creating platform for awareness. It's one way of crime prevention and crime combating through awareness.
Thank you so, so much indeed. That was security strategist and retired Interpol ambassador Andy Mashaile, helping us unpack the global fight against human traffickers and what it means for people across the continent. Yep.